I get asked this a lot. What is one supply that you could not go without? That is not the typical supply you would think of. Usually we would say paper, brushes, paint. I mean, and all of those things are great because you need those. But what is one supply that is so off the wall that you use every single day that you could not live without, but yet not very many people talk about it? So for me, that particular supply would be my spray bottle. I use this every single time I paint. Every single time I film a video for you guys, I am using this particular spray bottle. So what is this spray bottle doing for me and why is it so important? Well, the very first thing is this particular spray bottle is just filled with plain water. And what I do before I start any painting is I spray my watercolor palette with this particular spray bottle, and I just lightly mist it over the entire palette, and then I let it sit for a little bit until I activate my watercolor paints. So why is this so important? Well, the first thing is, if I am starting to paint with watercolor and I don't do that particular step, I'm going to have to take water from my brush and basically put it into my palette or whatever color that I'm wanting to use. First off, that's adding a lot of excess water that I don't need. And if I immediately start painting with that particular brush, I'm not going to pick up a lot of pigment because that pigment has not been activated yet. So by lightly misting the watercolor palette before I start painting and then kind of letting it sit and let the water kind of sink into the pigment, it's going to allow you to get a lot more richer colors right off the bat. And it also is not going to overfill your palettes or your wells with a ton of water that you don't need. So if you put too much water into your wells, what's going to end up happening is your brush is going to have water in it, your well is going to have water in it, and you're going to try and pick up that color. And first off, you're going to have a ton of excess water in your brush because you're picking up basically excess water in your well, as well as excess water that's already in your brush. And you're not going to be picking up very much pigment or very much color. So what's going to end up happening is you put this color on your paper and you're most likely going to have a little bubble or a dome of water on your paper with very, very little pigment inside of it. So you're going to have very light color payoff, and you're going to have very minimal control of that particular color on your paper. And it's just a mess of a circumstance. So just by wetting your palette basically with this little spray bottle right here, you're going to be able to get a lot more pigment payoff inside of your brush without oversaturating your brush with a ton of water, giving you a lot more control as well as a lot more color when you're painting for the very first stroke or whatever wash that you're trying to lay down on your paper at that time. So that is watercolor tip for the week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye.